You see my screen
Yes, Mataji.
now?
Yes,
The
yes.
presentation. Okay. All right.
It's a presentation.
Um, Thank you, everyone, for giving me an opportunity to speak on such a beautiful topic, and wishing everyone a very happy Thanksgiving and happy Bhishma Panchak, happy Kartik month. Yeah, very nice, auspicious day. So let's begin with this pastime. I'll just do the pranam prayers first. ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So the topic is Narad Muni sees God everywhere. So let's begin with this scene. The scene begins from this an angry snake, which is coiled inside.
I can't see your screen in full. You can't see the slides moving.
Sorry?
It's not in presentation mode, Mataji, so we cannot see the slide you're on.
Oh, is it? 1 second. Resume share. You can see in presentation mode now?
No, Mataji. I think you'll have to share your whole desktop, not like a certain screen, or else you can switch.
Let me do that. Okay, share screen. It's good now?
Yes, Mataji, perfect.
Okay. All right. So the story begins from this angry snake, which is coiled inside the grass. It's in the forest and it is looking for an opportunity to sting, on that oncoming feet. And that feet belonged to none other than Narad Muni's mother. So Narad Muni's mother, she was heading towards this cowshed to get some milk and go back. So she was actually in a lot of rush. So she did not notice the snake. And while she was walking, she like walking very fast in a hurried way. And here the snake is looking for that chance to sting on her. And as soon as her feet was about to trample on the snake, she gets a bite, and the snake releases its venom on her feet, and the venom goes in her bloodstream. So Narada Muni's mother, like, she screamed for a moment, and then she noticed, okay, there is a snake wrapped around her feet. And what she does is she's so brave that she just picked it up and just threw it on the other side of the forest, and then she kept continuously walking. So as she continued walking, then she realized, something is happening in her body. She can feel the numbness, she can feel that dizziness happening, and then suddenly she collapsed into the on the ground. And after she collapses, like, she's trying to call for help, but because her voice is so very weak, she couldn't call anyone. Hmm? And then she was in a helpless situation, like crying, and she was thinking to herself that, yes, I'm going to die. She was preparing herself. So that was, the story of Narad Muni's mother. Now, after Narad Muni got to know about, the mother, my mother has passed away. And then Narad Muni, being the only son of his mother, and his mother was, single mom. She was raising him as a single mother. So Narad Muni felt very, very sad about it. And this is the past life, previous life of Narad Muni. So Narad Muni just recollected, like, because, he was thinking about her all the time. And he recollected, flashback of 4 months of the rainy season, where his mother used to, work as in a Brahmin's house. She was a maid servant, and she used to serve, like that Brahmin used to tell, like he used to keep, these mendicants, like all the sages, during the rainy season they cannot meditate in the forest because of the rainy weather. And then the, like, this Brahmin person, he used to give some accommodation, to live in this home for a few months, and then these devotees, the sages, can, perform their meditation, and then they can go. So Narad Muni's mother's role was to serve them. And so Narad Muni's mother, not only she, she took that service, but also she delegated some service to Narad Muni also. So Narad Muni was, the service of Narad Muni was to, deliver the food and to clean their quarters. So he was involved in that service. So what happened is, these sages who were, practicing this meditation and everything, and, they were actually really pure devotees of Lord. So when they saw the service attitude of Narad Muni, the result of that serving was he received lot of blessings because of serving in that consistent mood. And Narad Muni became spiritually inclined. So he was no longer, a playful boy, like who was, naughty, not just like how kids usually are naughty here, their mind is here and there. But he was not like that. He became so self-controlled, and he was not playful. He did not speak more than required. So and one fine day, what happened is, these sages, when they were taking prasad, obviously there were some leftover prasadam on their plates. So Narada Muni saw that, and he asked them, first of all, asked their permission first, whether he can take these remnants of the sages. And they like, the sages were so happy with this attitude of this Narad Muni. Then they gave him the permission. Yes, you can take those remnants. So this way, what happened is, all their karmic reactions, they were all the karmic reactions of Narad Muni were eradicated, and his heart became so purified, and he became so strongly attracted to this transcendental living. So because of that purification, he was eager to hear, Krishna's pastimes, and ultimately he got that higher taste. Moving further. So he became spiritual, like, he got that self-realization. And his mind, he was like, with that self-realization, what he got is, he is not the material body or the mind, but he is a spirit soul. He's a part and parcel of Krishna. So he imparted this transcendental knowledge, like, when he continued serving these sages, he developed a strong faith in them. And what happened with this continuously serving mood is, they gave him some confidential knowledge to him, that is spiritual knowledge. And that is, he understood what is the source of the soul, why he is in the material world, what is the cause of suffering, and how to become free from all miseries. And later on he discovered what is the eternal relationship with God, and he understands that, this relationship with God is dormant. It is inside our heart, and it can be revived by devotional service. So he learned, okay, this is the process he needs to follow. And eventually he learned that he can enter the abode of Lord and personally meet and serve the Lord face to face. So he made a goal in his life that this was his goal, that he wants to serve the Lord face to face. So what happened is, after these sages left, so Narada Muni was all by himself, because his mother passed away. He was feeling very helpless. He was sad because of separation from his mother, but he was assured within the heart that, Lord is taking care of her. And he understood that it is a special mercy of Lord. So what he decided is, he left this Brahmin's home, and he walked on the, he walked so many, places. He visited cities, villages, so many villages he passed, and like cities and all. And he was wandering in the forest. Then he was so hungry, thirsty. Then he came across a lake, and then he tried quenching his thirst. And then later on, he came in an inhabited forest. And he tried to meditate, just as the sages instructed him. Then, he tried meditating. Then later on, so he tried focusing on the super soul. So what he saw is, he saw suddenly Krishna's lotus feet. As soon as he saw Krishna's lotus feet within the heart, his heart was filled with so much transcendental love, and his whole body, it was with ecstasy. The tears were flowing from his eyes, and his heart was filled with happiness. And in that ecstatic mode, he was very joyful, blissful. But suddenly, what happened is, he cannot see God anymore. Then Narad Muni actually tried hard. Like he could not succeed. He was trying very hard to focus and meditate. But he got frustrated in that, searching for the Lord. He was frustrated and he got distressed. So the Lord is actually witnessing that what is happening with this child, and he saw the grief. Basically, it was not out of anxiety, different anxiety as we have, but it was like hankering for the Lord. And the Lord witnessed that, the child's grief, and he spoke gravely. So this is a very interesting conversation between the Lord and Narad Muni. So the Lord said to him that, I'm sorry, I cannot see you. You cannot see me anymore. So Narad Muni is like perplexed. Why? Why? He asks, why I cannot see you. And the Lord says, because you are incomplete in devotional service. So Narad Muni is like questioning, like, what is incomplete mean? And the Lord says, yes. However, the more service you perform, the purer your heart will become. And the Narad Muni says, then like another question comes in his mind, that how did you allow me to see you today? Like, if at all I'm incomplete, then how come you came in my heart? And the Lord said, to increase your desire for me. So Narada Muni says, like, again, he has a question, that increase, what do you mean by that? And the Lord says that the more you remember me and hanker for me, the more you will be freed from worldly desires. So Narada Muni says, and when will I be free from them? Will I be able to see you then? And the Lord says, yes, always and everywhere. By my mercy, you will never forget me. So here is, then from that time onwards, what did Narad Muni do is, he remembered and he chanted the Lord's glories and names regularly all the time. And at the end of his life, he became free from all material desires and karma. And he was awarded a transcendental body, full of knowledge, bliss, and it was eternal. So at the end of that Brahma's day, during that phase, then during that yuga, after 432 million years, when the whole world got destroyed, at that time, Narad Muni and Lord Brahma, they remained in the Supreme Lord's body in divine consciousness. They went back, and then at the end of Brahma's night, when Lord Brahma awoke, he once more created this world. So Narad Muni appeared in the same transcendental form, which he had previously when he entered Lord's body. And Narad Muni traveled, everywhere without restrictions, both in the spiritual world and in the material world, performing devotional service. So wherever this Narad Muni, he travels, he will sing God's glories. And he will play this musical, devotional music on his veena. And this very special feature of this veena is this veena plays the transcendental sound. And because it was given by Lord Krishna himself. So as soon as Narad Muni, sings about Lord's activities and plays that devotional melody, Lord Krishna will
ध्यान
instantly.
जाइए, एकदम धीमे मारवानो, okay? वो फास्ट ना मारे.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so as soon as the Lord Narad Muni would sing about the Lord's holy activities and plays the devotional melody, the Lord Krishna will instantaneously appear, in Narad Muni's heart. So this was a message from Narad Muni to all of us that you can cross the ocean of materialistic desires and anxieties, miseries, with the boat of constant conversation about the transcendental activities of the Supreme Lord. This gives you pure love of God and complete delight and fulfillment. Possessing these, you need nothing else. So very, very beautiful message what Narad Muni is trying to give us, that with the constant conversation about the activities of the Lord, we can get the pure love of God. And with that fulfillment, we will need nothing else in our life. So this is the end of this pastime. There are some beautiful lessons what I learned from this whole pastime is first of all talking about Narad Muni's mother. So Narada Muni's mother, if we see her character, her role, she was not, spiritually like inclined or, advanced, or materially also she did not had any much thing, to give. But only thing what she provided was the right atmosphere for her son. So similarly, as single mothers or parents, we may always feel that we are inadequate in our spiritual journey, and how can we give the whole Krishna consciousness to our kids? But if we give them the right atmosphere, that is wholesome, right? So that is very, very important. Giving kids like material comforts, whatever are the needs, that is okay. But or if, but more important thing to give is the best gift as a parent one can give their children is to go back home, back to Godhead, and the love of God. So when we engage our kids in the devotional services, like serving the devotees, how Narad Muni was serving, all these sages, when we engage the kids in devotional services and engage them in the serving these devotees, exalted devotees, what happens is they receive the causeless mercy, and with that causeless mercy they can advance in their spiritual life. So that is one of the lessons. And the second lesson is our attitude and the mood of service. So Krishna consciousness is like a simple definition of Krishna consciousness is inner remembrance of Krishna and outer service of Krishna. And the service of Krishna begins from serving the devotees. So service to the bona fide spiritual masters in whatever capacity you can do. Devotional service is not there is some standard to it. That this is the bar, there is a little thing. What Prabhupada always mentions is even you come to the temple and put just a nail also, that is also considered a service for the Lord. And devotional service. So Prabhupada always told about devotional service, and even in our Bhagavad Gita, we have the chapter devotional service, and it is not devotion, devotional service, because service is an expression of love. Yeah, we always have this in English also, we have this quote that action speaks louder than words, because that is something very, very important. And next point is talking about Narad Muni, how he had the mood of hearing, with that mood, humble spirit, he was grounded. always. Most of the times when we have lot of knowledge, what we tend to do is when we come to the temple environment, we may tend to be yes, okay, I know everything attitude, but that pride will actually block your whole intelligence, and we may not see Krishna at all, or so many years of practice also just goes waste because of the pride that accumulates. There is a layer of pride. So one has to be very humble and grounded. And one way is to think like, even if you come to the temple also, be in the mood of student attitude, or remain as a blank slate. You know nothing, and when you come you get something. Always be in the hankering mood of receiving something from the so many devotees who comes for the classes, for the lectures, or have that service attitude, and we can imbibe those attitude in us and learn from them. This is a very nice quote by His Holiness Satswarup Maharaj, that Krishna's favor is won not by any one thing in particular, but by the sincerity of its purpose. So before doing any services also, whether it is pleasing me or it is pleasing Krishna, that is something, or pleasing the devotees, that is the sum and substance, that is a whole foundation. One has to think about it first, and then carry out, or whether we need some purification on our side or not, we can decide. And then later on, coming to this Narad Muni, so many beautiful qualities the devotees have, that he was not properly educated. He was not like a PhD or a scientist or anything, but what his power of devotional service does is, he got so much of mercy. And devotional service, we can see that one literate or illiterate, devotional service does not differentiate there. The devotional service is devoid of any designations. Like the definition of devotional service is sarva upadi vinirmuktam. There is no upadi here. And later on, talking about this power of prasadam, I know everybody, in our movement, they come to our center because of prasadam is the main important thing. And the whole point of eating prasadam, why the sanctified food, is purification of our existence. Purification, yes, outside, but purification inside as well. So what happens when we eat prasadam is, our finer tissues in the memory, they become sanctified. And when memory is sanctified, one can think of Krishna. So the consciousness in which one cooks the whole food, so that plays a very major role. So we should be very, in order to increase in our spiritual journey, we have to be very careful about what we consume. And we need to respect our body, because the whole body, it is like, it is given, and the human form of life is very, very rare, and Krishna has awarded us with such a beautiful gift. So we have to respect that. So the next point is about the power of association. So here we see that these spiritual masters, the sages, when Narada Muni, they were giving them, imparting him the spiritual knowledge. Like, they did not even judge Narada Muni that, oh, he's from a poor class, or he's from a some background. They did not judge him. So even our spiritual masters, we all have gurus in our life, that they do not judge us. They forgive all the mistakes, whatever we have committed, and they accept us as we are. And so they are so impartial in distributing the knowledge of devotional service. Anywhere, everywhere, throughout the whole world, they travel, and they keep giving Krishna consciousness. They are always in the mood of giving Krishna consciousness or devotional service to everybody. And so it is very important that never take devotees for granted. We need to respect them, care for them, and how much appreciate them, and not be envious of other devotees, because envy is the whole point because of which we are here in this material world. And we have to somehow or other leave that envy and appreciate, care for them, and respect them. And the next point is about faith in the teachings and process. So Narad Muni here, he had so much of faith, and he followed that process. So So it is like, in this Damodar month, we all hear about this effort and mercy, like two finger shot story. So effort is our department. This is something my spiritual master always tells, that, effort is our department, mercy is Krishna's department. So don't, try to handle Krishna's department. Be in your department, which is the effort department. And that way we can actually succeed. So when we see Narad Muni's life also, initially, like when Krishna came in his heart, and immediately he vanished away because he was incomplete in devotional service. So there was so much of consistently he was practicing, he was chanting and this thing, and at the end he got the result. So similarly, the consistency with patience is very, very important. We are all living in this world of this instant pot and fast food. Everything we want fast. So, but that will not happen in case of bhakti. Like it may take a moment. Prabhupada says, yes, it is a moment, but sometimes it may take longer. But we have to wait for the right time. Krishna comes in his own sweet time. He is not our order, supplier. Whatever we order, whenever we order, he will come. But he will come according to his own time. So just like, when we have this weight loss journey, like on one day of treadmill, we will not lose weight. It takes a consistent effort and with patience also. So, but we can really achieve the love of Lord. And the next point about his mother's passing away, like, how he took that, as a special mercy of the Lord, because he got that spiritual wisdom. There's so many people, yes, it is, as devotees also, we understand we are not the body, spirit, soul, but we do have emotions for our loved ones. Yes, it is okay to express our emotions, cry, okay, that's fine, but we have to understand also that is, these things are not in our control. Very important to think that it is not in our control, but it is not out of Krishna's control also. So that is one of the points. And the last point I would like to summarize is have a goal in life. Narad Muni also, he achieved so much spiritual wisdom, and he practiced, and he had this goal set. And definitely we all have goals. I have a long-term goal of going back home, back to Godhead, but our short-term goal should be to how do we do that incremental steps. We are here and the standard is here, and in that space, luminal space, that is called a luminal space in between, how do we migrate, one step at a time. So we all have certain inclinations on how do we perform and make our devotional service more and more better, and please the Lord ultimately. So thank you everyone for your kind attention. Hare Krishna.
Haribol, thank you so much, Mataji, for enlightening us. That was very well said. I really liked your overview of the story, and especially how from Narad Muni's story we can learn the power of association, power of faith. And I like the way you said it. Our department is effort, and the Lord's department is mercy, and we should focus on ours. And your point about hearing, always having a learning attitude, I really like that. And I remember this one thing that we hear all the time. I don't remember the exact quote, but it's like, the more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't know. So that's one thing that struck me. At this point, we can open the floor for any questions, any comments, anything. We have a question in the chat if any people would like to answer. Yes, Sangvikar Mataji.
Hare Krishna, dear mother. My most respectful obeisances at your lotus feet, and my pranams to all the Vaishnavas assembled here this evening. Thank you so much. What a delight. I've been missing your association for a very long time. And yes, this statement of yours that you handle your department, let Krishna handle his department, has been in my heart for so long. I remember you used to say this when we were doing our Bhagavatam reading too. So yeah, this is something that really sticks with me. A couple of realizations, Mataji. You spoke about prasadam. I was thinking of uchishta, remnants. That's what the previous the little boy who became Narad Muni in his next life, this little boy, he partake of the remnants. And Narottam Das Thakur in his song does mention that, along with, he mentioned 6 items to strengthen our devotional service, and Uchishta is one of them. And we saw that what's the power of that. So prasadam, yes, definitely, but when it becomes maha, it has that maha shakti to purify us even faster and stronger. So, while outside in the material world, people would be like, what? And they would not. I think even the mothers wouldn't use the spoons used by the sons or their kids. But yes, we just hanker for a little maha because we know the potency of that. So yeah, that was one great point. Another point was on reversals. This I've heard from my Guru Maharaj. He always says that um, if we are able to change our goals for the reversals that we receive, then we will be able to accept it, or we will be able to incorporate it in our life without getting disturbed. So even before, when Narad Muni's mom was there, I mean, Narad Muni's previous life, the little boy's mom was there, he didn't have any plans of leaving everything, going out in the excursion and trying to look for the supreme truth. But when this reversal happened in his life without even anticipation, he just said, okay, this has happened. Yes, of course, he's a little boy. The only person he had in his entire life was the mom. But he did not just use that reversal as an excuse to ask Krishna, why me? He said, all right, okay, so how can I, what am I supposed to learn out of this situation? And so he decided, okay, this was probably my only bondage. And now that I'm free of this bondage, he just sets out to find out the truth. And because he does that, his sincerity shows that Krishna himself gives him a darshan. So I find this statement very beautiful, that in reversals, we should be able to change ourselves and to try to accommodate that reversal in our life. If we'll stand stoic, then of course we'll break. And that's what happens with most of the people. So that was wonderful. Mataji, one question. This conversation that you picked up between the child Narad and Lord Vishnu, is it from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's?
It is like given from the book, actually, the Mysteries of Bhagavatam. Maybe I will share with you the PDF because this is coming from the Bhagavatam itself. So I'll find it out, Mataji, for you and send it to you. But I have the PDF, what I was given to give a class on. So.
Oh, nice. That's amazing, because it just reminded me that probably could be Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, because he gets into these conversations, think, okay, what's happening? He can really see what's going on in the hearts of the devotees, and he creates these beautiful conversations. So thank you so much, Mataji. Again, it was a beautiful rendition. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for that. Any other? Ramchandra Bharji?
Hare Krishna, wonderful class, very, very nicely presented, and some very nice examples as well. Thank you very much for enlightening us on this Thanksgiving Day.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Very well.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Rukmavati.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah, very nice class. I really can connect with this pastime where even Srila Prabhupada's father, he always wanted his son to become devotee, staunch devotee of Radharani. And this culture was maintained in their house also to invite saintly people and to serve them. So like as you mentioned about Narad Muni, right? He used to eat the remnants of all the sages. And here also we see that Srila Prabhupada's father always encouraged that tradition in his home. And also he used to ask all the saints to bless, right? To seek their blessings also, so that his son would become devotee. So it is important, very important part of serving Vaishnavas, especially very important part of devotees' life. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji and Prabhuji. Any last call for any questions, comments, anything? If not, then we can move on to our next part. Thank you again, Rukmavati Mataji. It was a beautiful, beautiful class. Thank you for enlightening us. So, since today's the auspicious day of Uttana Ekadashi, we can just take a few minutes to read the story. I'll share screen and it would be great if, we can have a few people read a couple paragraphs, take turns. If anybody would like to start.
Let me read. Utthana Ekadashi, it has 4 names: Haribodhini, Prabodhini, Devothani, Utthana Ekadashi, and it is the second Ekadashi Kartik